Nancy Lee Grahn decides to leave General Hospital after Valentini told her 6 hurtful words. Soap operas thrive on dramatic exits, shocking twists, and emotional confrontations. Yet sometimes, the drama spills far beyond the fictional streets of Port Charles. This time, the storyline doesn't involve Alexis Davis battling her demons, finding love, or standing up in a courtroom. Instead, it's about Nancy Lee Grahn, the powerhouse actress who has embodied Alexis for nearly 3 decades, deciding to walk away from ABC's General Hospital after a deeply personal and professional wound. The spark? 6 words. 6 short, painful words allegedly spoken by executive producer Frank Valentini that shattered Grahn's trust, ignited a storm of emotions, and forced her to rethink her place on the long-running soap. This article takes you through Nancy Lee Grahn's journey, her legacy on GH, the behind-the-scenes culture that led to her departure, and the emotional toll of those 6 hurtful words. We'll also explore fan reaction, industry impact, and what the future may hold for both Grahn and Alexis Davis. Nancy Lee Grahn joined General Hospital in 1996, stepping into the role of Alexis Davis, a Cassadine lawyer with sharp intellect, moral complexity, and emotional vulnerability. Over the years, Alexis became one of the most beloved heroines in soap opera history, a woman caught between powerful families, dangerous romances, and her own inner battles. Grahn's portrayal elevated Alexis from just another Cassadine into a multidimensional character. She fought mobsters in courtrooms, wrestled with alcoholism, navigated motherhood, and even survived car accidents, love triangles, and betrayals. Alexis wasn't just a character. She was an emblem for many fans who saw themselves in her struggles. For women balancing careers, families, and personal demons, Alexis was more than fiction. She was representation. Grahn, already known for her Emmy-winning role on Santa Barbara as Julia Wainwright, brought depth and fire to Alexis. Over nearly 30 years, she became one of GH's anchors, both respected and sometimes controversial for her outspoken nature off-screen. Longtime GH viewers know the soap industry is rife with backstage politics. Writers rotate, producers tighten budgets, and actors constantly face uncertainty. Even a veteran like Nancy Lee Grahn, with decades of loyalty, wasn't immune to creative clashes. Grahn is known not only for her artistry but for her strong political and social voice. She has never been afraid to speak out on issues like women's rights, social justice, or network decisions she found questionable. While fans applauded her honesty, industry insiders sometimes labeled her difficult. The relationship between Grahn and executive producer Frank Valentini has long been a subject of whispers. Valentini, known for his fast-paced style and sharp production instincts, has both revitalized GH and sparked criticism for controversial storylines, firings, and backstage management. Over the years, Valentini and Grahn reportedly clashed over Alexis' storylines, whether she was underutilized, miswritten, or sidelined for younger characters. Fans often wondered why Alexis, one of the show's most iconic heroines, spent so much time on the back burner while others dominated screen time. The breaking point came during a private meeting between Grahn and Valentini earlier this year. Grahn, advocating for stronger material for Alexis and voicing concerns about recent scripts, allegedly faced Valentini's cold dismissal. His words, according to insiders, "Alexis just doesn't matter anymore." 6 words. A knife to the heart of an actress who had poured nearly 30 years of her life into breathing fire, soul, and truth into that very character. For Grahn, it wasn't just about Alexis being diminished in a storyline. It was about respect. After years of loyalty, after carrying legal battles, addiction arcs, and mother-daughter dramas that defined GH history, being told her character doesn't matter was devastating. Friends close to Grahn revealed she was visibly shaken. It wasn't just professional disappointment, it felt deeply personal. To her, those words weren't just about Alexis. They were about Nancy Lee Grahn herself being dismissed, devalued, and discarded. Grahn wrestled with the decision for weeks. She has often described General Hospital as her second home, the cast as family, and Alexis as an extension of her soul. Walking away meant leaving behind decades of history and fans who had supported her through every high and low. But in the end, the hurt outweighed the loyalty. Sources say Nancy confided in co-stars like Jeannie Francis, Laura Spencer, and Maura West, Ava Jerome, both of whom understood the precarious balance of power between actors and producers. While friends encouraged her to fight for her place, Grahn ultimately felt that her dignity required a different choice. She decided to exit General Hospital, not quietly but powerfully. Unlike many actors who fade off screen after being written out, Grahn wanted fans to know why. Her decision wasn't about retiring or losing passion for the work. It was about principle. Those 6 words became a line in the sand. The news spread quickly across fan forums, social media, and soap magazines. Nancy Lee Grahn leaving wasn't just gossip, it was an earthquake in the GH universe. Fans were furious at Valentini's alleged words. Alexis doesn't matter? She's carried this show for decades. One viewer raged on Twitter. No Alexis, no me. I'm done watching. Another wrote on Facebook. Nancy gave us a heroine who is flawed, brilliant, and real. She matters to us. A fan wrote on a soap forum. Petitions began circulating demanding ABC rehire Grahn or fire Valentini. Soap fans, known for their loyalty and passion, weren't going to let Alexis vanish quietly. For many, this wasn't just about one actress leaving. It was about the ongoing trend of sidelining legacy characters in favor of younger, newer faces. Nancy Lee Grahn's exit sparked conversations across the soap industry. Veteran actors from other shows reached out with support, some privately, others publicly. Former GH stars hinted at their own experiences with disrespect behind the scenes. Soap journalists dissected the situation, calling it emblematic of deeper problems within daytime television: lack of respect for veteran actors, budget cuts, and creative shortcuts. Even rival soaps took notice. Could Nancy Lee Grahn find a home on The Bold and The Beautiful or Days of Our Lives? Some speculated she might join The Young and the Restless, where her former co-star Michelle Stafford, Phyllis, ex-Nina, thrives. Of course, Alexis Davis can't just vanish. General Hospital thrives on dramatic goodbyes. Writers now face the task of scripting an exit worthy of one of Port Charles's most iconic characters. Speculation runs wild. A courtroom triumph. Alexis wins one last impossible case, then leaves Port Charles to pursue justice on a bigger stage. A family-centered goodbye. Alexis reunites with her daughters Sam, Christina, and Molly, finally choosing herself over endless battles. A tragic twist. Soap fans fear Alexis may be killed off, a choice that would spark even more outrage. Nancy Lee Grahn herself reportedly pushed for a storyline that allows Alexis to leave with dignity, strength, and hope. After all, Alexis has always been a survivor. On the surface, Valentini's alleged words might seem like just an executive brushing off a character. But for Nancy Lee Grahn and for fans, they symbolize something bigger. Devaluation of women in soaps. Alexis was one of the few heroines defined by intellect rather than romance. Saying she doesn't matter felt like an attack on the type of woman she represented. Ageism in Hollywood. Grahn, now in her late 60s, has been vocal about the entertainment industry's tendency to sideline older women. Being told Alexis doesn't matter echoed a larger cultural problem: dismissal of loyalty. After nearly 30 years of service to one show, hearing those words was the ultimate betrayal. For Nancy Lee Grahn, it wasn't just a professional slight, it was a personal wound that symbolized decades of systemic issues. Grahn has options: advocacy and activism. Always politically outspoken, she may pivot to focus on writing, advocacy, or political commentary. New acting roles. Primetime television and streaming platforms value seasoned actors who can bring gravitas. Another soap. While Grahn has suggested she may be done with daytime, fans of other soaps are already clamoring for her to join their shows. Memoir. Many speculate she may write a memoir detailing her decades in Hollywood, behind-the-scenes truths fans would devour. Whatever path she chooses, Grahn will carry with her a fanbase that refuses to let her legacy be erased. Can GH survive without Alexis Davis? The soap has weathered countless exits, but this one feels different. Alexis was a moral compass, a flawed heroine, and a representation of fans who saw themselves in her struggles. Removing her from the canvas leaves a gaping hole, not just in storylines, but in heart. Some fear it may accelerate a decline in viewership. Others argue soaps must evolve, even painfully. Still, the shadow of those 6 words looms large. Fans may forgive storyline missteps, but dismissing a character as not mattering cuts deep. In the end, Nancy Lee Grahn's decision to leave wasn't about contracts, ratings, or even storylines.
It was about respect.
6 words. Alexis just doesn't matter anymore. Were enough to push her out of Port Charles. But to fans, those words are a lie. Alexis mattered. She mattered when she stood up in court against Sonny Corinthos. She mattered when she guided her daughters through heartbreak. She mattered when she fell, when she rose, when she fought. And Nancy Lee Grahn matters. To her fans, to her colleagues, and to the history of daytime television. Her exit isn't the end of Alexis Davis. It's the beginning of Nancy Lee Grahn's next act.